In this video, I'm going to teach you how to be kinder to yourself with a technique that's so simple, it'll literally surprise you. But it's so powerful that it can actually change how you treat yourself and how you feel about yourself. So stick around. Hey, I'm Ziad Masri. I'm the author of the best-selling book Reality Unveiled, and I'm also the founder of SoulHub.com. Now, I know personally firsthand what it's like to be unkind to yourself. I did it for so many years. I was my own worst critic. I had myself in this kind of prison of the mind. And because I was being so unkind to myself and so tough on myself, I was then obviously lashing out and being unkind to others, especially loved ones, which then would make me feel worse and make me more unkind. It was just a vicious cycle that did not feel good. And because since then I've largely transcended this issue, I'm much more kind with myself and with others, I wanted to share this video with you to teach you at least one powerful way that you can get started becoming much kinder to yourself very quickly and easily. And so what is this very quick and easy technique? Well, I'm going to share that with you right here in a bit. But first, to really understand why and how it works so you can actually apply it. That's the key. I want you to be able to apply this. You need to uncover one of the biggest hidden ways that you're actually being unkind to yourself, maybe without even realizing it. And so let's do a quick little experiment right now. I want you to think of something that you should be doing, but you aren't. Okay, so I'll just give you a moment right now. Just think of something you should be doing that you aren't, whatever it is in your life. All right, you got it? Time's up. Okay, and so now I want you to actually, in your mind, tell yourself, I should be doing so and so. Just think about whatever it is that you're not doing and say, I should be doing so and so. Okay, you've done that? Fine. Now, when you did that, and you can repeat it right now as I'm talking so you can feel it, I want you to note, what did that feel like in your body? What did it make you feel like to say, I should be doing whatever it is? And so if you tune in, what you'll find undoubtedly is that if you say, or when you say, I should be doing so and so, it doesn't feel good, all right? First of all, your body contracts. You feel usually a sense of guilt, right? You feel kind of bad about yourself, essentially. And so what's the actual result of this? Well, what it's really telling you is that you are being unkind to yourself when you say, I should be doing something. And you may not realize that as unkindness because the mind will come in and say, well, of course, I should be doing this. This is for my own good. So by telling myself I should be doing this, I'm being good to myself and I'm being kind to myself because it's for my own good. Well, that's a trap of the mind, and the mind has so many beautiful traps it lays for us. All right, so I'm not saying you should become passive and not do whatever it is that you think you should do. I'm just saying there is a way to communicate with yourself. There is a way to carry out self-talk that is much more kind and that actually not only changes how you feel about yourself and how kind you are to yourself, but actually changes the outcome of what you do. And you end up finding out that you'll be doing the things you should be doing much more readily with a lot less resistance just by changing this self-talk. All right? And so think about it. I mean, the reality is when you're thinking, I should do something, all right, and you're telling yourself you should, it's like having someone follow you around and telling you, you should be doing that, or, shame on you for not doing that. Imagine having someone literally follow you around all day, shaming you, making you feel guilty, making you feel bad about what you think you should be doing, and always telling you should be doing it, you should be doing it. Well, that's essentially what we do with ourselves. We're literally walking around inside our own minds as our own police officer, as our own worst enemy, creating this kind of negative, contracted energy within ourselves under the guise of being good to ourselves. And that's the real issue here, right? Is it fools us and tells us that we're being good to ourselves. So what is the solution? Well, it's actually extremely simple, like I told you at the start, but don't be fooled by simplicity. First, after I tell you what it is, we're going to actually experiment with it, and then I'm going to share a couple other benefits it has. Okay, so let's start with what it is. Well, what it is very simply, you remove should from your vocabulary. And not only from your vocabulary, but from your inner self-talk. Okay, so you remove should completely. Now, I'm going to tell you what to replace it with in a couple different scenarios, so don't think I'm just leaving it at that. But first, I want you to feel, what would it be like? What would life be like if internally in your own mind, you did not have any shoulds? Imagine what life would be like if you did not feel like you should do anything, if you didn't have that should pressure on you. Be pretty freeing, right? It would be pretty nice, and internally you'd feel kind of much more kind to yourself, wouldn't you? All right, so that's the proof right there. You can already sense it, that it will be much nicer. Now, the question is, what do you replace it with? All right, so there are two real scenarios here that you need to think about. One is that when you want to be doing something, but you aren't doing it. That's one scenario. And the other scenario is when you don't want to be doing something, but you think you should be doing it because it's good for you. Okay, so we got two scenarios. And so there is a solution of a different kind of inner self-talk for each of these. So let's just start with the first one. They're both simple, but you'll see how powerful they are. So the first one is, so if you want to do something, it's genuinely something you want to do, but you know sometimes we get stuck in apathy or laziness or a rut or whatever, and we just don't do it, or we don't have time or whatever it is, right? And so, but we're always telling ourselves, I should be doing it. So instead of that, you switch it to very simply, I'd like to be doing whatever it is you're doing. So let's try right now, okay? First, think of that thing that you want to be doing but you aren't. And first, let's try again. Tell yourself, I should be doing that. And note how it feels in your body, in your being. Okay? Now, tell yourself, I'd like to be doing that. And note how it feels in your body and in your being. Now, if you just did this right now, almost surely, right, that you'll feel the difference. You'll feel how when you said, I should be doing that, this felt like this guilty feeling, this contracted energy. And when you just said, I'd like to be doing that, which is actually the truth, you'd like to be doing it, all of a sudden it felt a little more expansive, a little more clear. There's no real guilt around that. It's just like, I'd like to. It's a kind of an energy that has this movement forward instead of this stuckness to it, right? And so that's the first one. Now, I want you to also do this. Think about something that you don't want to do, but you think you should do. All right? And I want you to change first let's do it. Just go into your mind and tell yourself whatever it is that you should be doing it and note how it feels. Okay? And now I want you to just simply change it to, I'd appreciate myself if whatever it is. And note how that feels. Okay, so now this is something that you don't want to do, right? But you think you should do. And just by changing it from I should be doing it to I'd appreciate myself if I would, changes the energy, right? It changes the energy around it. It changes the feel of it. Now, what does this all do? Well, what it does, very simply, is one, it instantly makes you kinder to yourself. All of a sudden, you're no longer your own police officer, but you're more like your own friend. And when you're your own friend, obviously, you're kinder, you're more loving to yourself, which just feels better. But then here's the cool thing. Because it feels better, you end up having a different state of being, which ends up creating different behavior in you. Because before, when you were always shoulding on yourself, it creates this contracted energy. All of a sudden, you don't want to do those things that you know you should do. You don't want to do them. Why? Because you have this inner rebellion against this police officer, this inner parent, right? We all rebel against our parents. That is telling you should. But when you change it to either I'd like to for something you want, or I'd appreciate myself if I did for something you don't want to do, but you know is good for you, then that becomes more like a friend. It changes the energy, and all of a sudden there isn't that rebellion, there isn't that resistance to it nearly as much, and all of a sudden you're much more likely to actually do it. And when you actually do it, here's the cool thing, you feel even better, which makes you what? Even more kind to yourself. So it produces this beautiful virtuous cycle where you are actually becoming more and more kind to yourself and being more and more effective in the world, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. All right. Now, there's actually a big bonus to this technique, even with all its simplicity, that I'm going to share with you right now. But before I share that with you, before I share this cool bonus, I want you to go down below into the comments. If you're on your phone, you got to scroll down below all those related videos to actually get to the comments. Some people ask me, like, where are the comments? If you're on your phone, you got to scroll below. Go down to the comments. And if you felt the difference, the energetic difference between the should and the I'd like to or I'd appreciate myself, just write a big yes in capital letters for me, please. I just want to know if this is a universal thing. Does it work like it works in my own body? Because I know for me, it works wonders. So I want to see if it's the same for the rest of you. Just write a big yes. Also, of course, if you want to write something more, you want to ask a question, do that. But at the very least, just a big yes if it worked like that for you. Okay? And so, thank you for doing that. Now, what's the bonus? What other benefit is there to this? Well, the beautiful thing is if you can take this self-talk and not just towards yourself, but now turn it to the relationships in your life. Okay? And if you can turn it into the relationships in your life, you'll see a dramatic difference. So if you're a parent, instead of tell your kids, you should do this, you should do your bed, or you should pick up after yourself, or you should do this. If you just change it to, I'd like it if you did that, or I'd appreciate it if you did that, and you're literally removed should from the vocabulary, even in your own mind when you're thinking about them, like, oh, my kids should be doing this, and just make it, I'd like it if my kids did that, and then talk like that to them. Same to your coworkers, to your, friends, to whoever, right? To your parents, whatever, it doesn't matter. And just try that and see the difference. What you'll see is because you're being kinder to them, there's going to be less rebellion from their end. They're going to kind of cooperate more. You're also going to feel better about yourself because you're being kinder, which is going to make you be more kinder to yourself too. And they're going to be kinder, and it just creates this beautiful kindness, virtuous wheel. Okay? And so, very simple little change, but our self-talk is so important because it determines the energy within our being, and then that affects how we feel about ourselves, but also how we interact with others and how they respond to us. So try this technique out with yourself, try it with others. Let me know again in the comments below if it worked for you in this little experiment right now, and then let me also know how it works in your life if you try it. If you are new to this channel, you haven't subscribed, please click that subscribe button below and the little bell icon so you can be notified with any new content that I produce, which is always from my heart and soul for your awakening and empowerment. And also share this video with someone who you think could use it, because the more we spread kindness to the world, the more beautiful this world becomes. Thank you for watching, and one last thing, if you would like to know how to really get into the depth of higher consciousness, of living a more conscious and awakened life, go over to SoulHub.com, where I'm running 2-hour free training sessions on a range of different subjects that will, be completely life-changing for you. So thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.